My name is Amy Buwick, and I am the director of the Counseling Center at Western Illinois University. Happy Purple and Gold Day. And I'd like to introduce Marsha Dace, who is also a counselor at the University Counseling Center, and she's working with me today as we talk about what we're doing for students and resiliency. So hello, Marsha.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks for your help. When I thought about what would be important to include in this, I was thinking that you might be wondering what we're doing in the Counseling Center to help students. And the short answer is everything that we could think of. So immediately we went into action and we started an online platform. So we're doing telecounseling. We moved from face-to-face counseling to telecounseling. We screened all our students to make sure it would be an appropriate level of care. And then we are meeting with our students on a weekly or bi-weekly basis based on what they need. And that was really important to us because we understand that these are difficult days. And so any way that we could help to meet their needs was something that we were all committed to. Another thing that we did is we really bolstered our webpage, and we added some podcasts and we added some apps that we personally use and like, because if students weren't comfortable coming in for counseling, we wanted to give them another layer of support to help them through these difficult days. And lastly, we're trying to make kindness contagious. So emotion is contagious, and you probably noticed this, like if someone in your house is in a bad mood, and pretty soon more than one person is in the bad mood in the house. The flip side is also true, that if you are treated with kindness and compassion, that you're more likely to pay that forward. So a couple of years ago, the university organized, and well, the counseling's not organized, but it's a whole university effort, and it's called Kinder Monday. And every Monday, a different office on campus hosts a Kinder event. And the idea is to bring social connectivity and kindness and caring to each other. And the belief is that if somebody experiences Kinder in the day, then later in the day, they're more likely to pay it forward and make kindness contagious. So we're trying to make kindness contagious by, instead of doing a Kinder Monday project, we're doing a Kinder Monday every day. So every day on our Facebook and Instagram, we're bringing kindness, and you can check that out. But what we were planning to talk about today is resiliency. So I'd like to introduce Marsha now, and maybe she can go over a little bit about what resiliency is.
So resiliency is the ability to bounce back. It's to recover quickly from difficulties. We are all resilient. We have all overcome obstacles. Overcoming obstacles is how we realize our potential, our strength, our willpower, and our heart. Resilient people adapt and thrive. They're flexible during times of stress and emotional discomfort. And goodness knows this is a lot of stress and a lot of emotional discomfort. We are resilient when we embrace our strengths, when we connect with others, we learn to be optimistic and resourceful, and we practice self-care. So right now, everyone's feeling helpless. Their lives have been disrupted, and you know what? People are scared, and that's okay. We have to allow ourselves to feel our feelings. That's scary also sometimes. And in order to feel better or to be resilient, we have to engage in practices that help us to feel calmer, clearer, and stronger. So what I tell people is everyone has a toolbox. What's in your toolbox? Some people utilize deep breathing and meditation. Some people like journaling, drawing. Some people like listening to their favorite song or reading their favorite poem or quote. All of those things help us feel calm and clear. We always have to be on the lookout for new things to put in our toolbox. Some of those new things can be awkward and uncomfortable. It may even be messy, and that's okay. It's not going to be perfect. We have to be willing to try some new things to help us feel stronger and be clearer. We also have to give ourselves permission to do what we need to do, to laugh, to cry, pray, maybe even scream.
And we all know that like life is about change, but these changes, a lot of them really stink. And we're having to deal with jobs that we didn't sign up for. No one signed up for this pandemic. Nobody said, yes, that's something that I want to do. My job is so dramatically different than it was in January. I'm guessing yours is too. Our students, their lives are dramatically different. They are not experiencing what they hope to experience this spring. Online classes are difficult and they're struggling as well. So what we have to do is we just have to accept that this really stinks, because when we accept how we're feeling, we disempower fear. And I think what's really important to know is that you're not alone. Like, this is a collective. Like, everybody is trying new things and everybody is working in different ways and we're all struggling. So we can take, I guess, some comfort in knowing that we're not alone, and that as we struggle, so is Marsha, so is the person sitting next to you, so is the student in the classroom. And we're all doing the best that we can. So how do we embrace the stink? How do we like accept our reality? Well, here are some of the resilient traits that we talked, and I think Marsha's going to talk to you now about social connection.
So connection is so important during this time. Connection is something that we have to do. We have to reach out. We have to make a point to stretch and connect with other people. Our friends and our family are so important to us that now is the time to reach out to them, not only to help ourselves, but also to help them. You can call them, FaceTime them, email, Snapchat, whatever you do, reach out. We are learning new social platforms like Zoom. It was a little tricky, but you may have to teach your family how to use those new platforms to be able to connect. Even learning TikTok, which a lot of people have been doing right now, and it definitely puts a smile to my face when I see some of those videos. So reaching out to others not only helps ourselves, but it also helps others. So I encourage the social connection to reach out.
Another tip is to like stay in the here and now, because when I'm in the here and now, I can think about what I can control, what I can do, and it gives me a sense of power. When I move forward into the future, I don't know what's coming. And so that brings more of the anxiety and the fear because I don't know what's going to happen. But when I can accept here I am right now, it disempowers my fear, what Mark Nepo said. One of the things that we're going to need to do is keep things in perspective. So these days are difficult, but these days aren't every day. Like, this pandemic had a beginning, it has a middle, it has an end. And so although right now things really stink, it's not a permanent situation, and we can work towards our goals for when we move out of this. All of life is where we are, and this is how precious life is. And one of the things that I like to do also in the here and now is to be like grateful for the things that I do have and hold on to that, as opposed to think about what I don't have. So when you look at what you have instead of looking what you don't have, it gives you more encouragement to address your day. And our perceptions are our choice. So asking you to think about staying in the here and now and be mindful. And I always talk about this. So I was in class and I was teaching about mindfulness, and I was talking about doing a body scan and kind of just recognizing your feelings and not having to act on them, but accepting them and giving them space to come to the surface. And a student said, Amy, I don't understand mindfulness because it doesn't make me happy. And I was so glad she asked that. The point of mindfulness isn't to make you happy. We're in a pandemic there. We may not be happy, but what we can be is we can be connected to ourselves, and that will give us a sense of peace. So when we acknowledge our feelings, then we don't have to try to avoid them, and that takes a lot of energy. So using mindfulness to connect with where you are in this moment, and then what you can do about it. Well,
Another thing that I think is really important. When we have a lot of time on our hands, or when we're experiencing something new, like what we're all going through right now, we tend to be hard on ourselves, to beat ourselves up. Remember, we're doing the best that we can. Judgment isn't helpful. It puts us in a deeper hole. Our judgment keeps us from taking risks or following our heart. Right now, it's really important for us to be authentic, to not hold back. Yes, it's vulnerable. Yes, it's going to feel scary, uncomfortable, and awkward. It's hard. Kind of like when we had to talk about doing this outreach. This was really hard for me. But I embraced it. We have to embrace the stink of it, because the foundation of courage is to be strong in the midst of uncertainty. That's what strength is, and that's how we're going to survive to come out on the other side. Now, one of the things that I always talked about with my students especially is that they're really good at being compassionate and caring to others, but they're really not good at being able to do that for themselves. And I think that's with a lot of us. We're all really good to be kind and compassionate to others, but not so much to ourselves. So we need to nurture ourselves during this time. I would encourage you to treat yourself and talk to yourself like like you would do for your best friend. Because remember, we're doing the best we can. We've gotten through things before. We will get through this. Pay attention to your own needs and your feelings, taking it one day at a time. Find your balance. It's really important. We all have things that we have to do, going to work, completing work. But remember, take that time for ourselves. That might be baking. That might be doing some exercise. That might be reading or watching something fun on Netflix. It's important that you find that balance and that you take time to implement self-care and self-compassion. That's what's going to get us through during this difficult time.
Yes, that and gratitude. So I just kind of want to sum up what we've said about resiliency. Some of the things that we brought up is connecting socially, staying in the here and now, being mindful, and staying out of judgment. Lastly, we want to talk about gratitude. And I think as we're all growing and we're all experiencing this stink and we're all being asked to do things that we're not necessarily comfortable with, or challenging ourselves to learn new things, learn new platforms, I think it's important to be grateful. And after Marsha and I talked about doing this project, she sent me this text message, and I'm going to read it to you because I think it's important. She said, "Thanks for always supporting me, pushing me, and being patient with me. Embracing this will help me grow, and I need that. You're the best, and I truly appreciate you." And I read that, and it moved me, because what I realized is those were the exact words that I needed to tell Marsha, and that together that we were getting through this and we were supporting each other and staying connected. So that's kind of the note that we wanted to leave you on. And thank you again for contributing to Purple and Gold. And we wish you the best. Stay well. And we hope to see you on campus soon. Take care.
Take care. Thanks.